welcome to this new tutorial. So in the last tutorial, we set things up so that we could apply a gameplay effect to the other character that we are hitting and cause them to trigger their stagger gameplay ability, just like so. Right, and we are doing all of that just by applying a gameplay effect, and all the gameplay effect is doing is just adding this tag to the actor, and when the tag is added to the actor, it triggers this gameplay ability that we have. Now we want to be able to trigger this gameplay ability by ourselves, like from the C++. So this is what we're going to be working on today, but not just triggering a gameplay ability, but also trigger anything that we want really. So I'm just going to get rid of this, save this, and let's jump into the C++. Alright, so the first thing that we want is to register to a tag. So basically, anytime a tag or the tag that we selected. So what we want here is to have a list of tags that we can register to, so that when they are applied to our actor or the other actor, they can do something in response to it. So to do that, I'm going to make a new function, which is gonna be public. I'm gonna make a function, it's gonna be a void. I'm gonna call it BindTagChangedCallbacks. Alright. Now what we want to do in here is first to make sure we have access to our ability component system. So let's do that. TP ability system component. Let's make sure we add it. Include component ability system. There we go. I'm just gonna cast BTP ability system component. I'm gonna use the ability system library, system blueprint library. Oh my god, blueprint library. Let's see, we need to include it also. ability system blueprint library. It's the one. Did I make a typo here? There you go. Get ability system component, passing in get owner. Alright. Now that we have our ability system component, we need to tell it which tag we want to register to. So which tag we want to know when they are applied, or removed from our actor. For that, I'm gonna make a this can be private, I guess, it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna make an array here, T array of gameplay tag. I'm gonna call it tag to bind. Text to bind. And it's complaining, so let's put EU gameplay. Go. Now what we're gonna do here is loop gameplay tag to bind tags to bind is our array. Gonna loop through all the entries that we have, and for every entry we're gonna tell the ability system to register what is it called, gameplay, I think gameplay tag event. Alright, so it requires the tag that we want to bind to, so it's gonna be just tag to bind, and then it requires a event type, which is gonna be gameplay tag event type. So we have a couple of options here. You're gonna choose any count change, which just means that if a tag is added or removed, it's gonna inform us, or if the amount of a tag is increased or decreased, also it's gonna let us know. And the next thing that it requires is I think that's it, yes. Now we can do add new object. Use this class, and we need a function. So CombatComponent. So now it requires a function to call when the tag that we chose is added, removed, or increase or decrease. The amount of them is increased or decreased. So let's make a function for it to call when this happens. So I'm gonna go to, it can be private, I guess. Let's make a void. I'm gonna call it HandleTagsChanged. It's gonna take in an F gameplay tag. Int 32 new count. New count is the new number for the amount of this specific tag that we have on our character. Let's create that. Alright, let's move that here. Cool. So we can now pass this in, so handle tag change. There we go. And let's make sure it's working. So I'm gonna log, let's do log temp, warning, text, and do, let's say tag, and new count. Tag.toString and new count. Alright. Now we do need to call this function somewhere. So in this function we need access to our ability system component. So before calling this function to register all the tags that we want, we need to make sure that our ability system component is has already been set. So to do that, we're just gonna go to our characters and let's go to the player first. So we have this initialize ability system function, and I know that here I should have a valid ability system component. So right after this, I'm just gonna check if get CombatComponent. Then I can do get CombatComponent and call our new function BindTagChangedCallbacks. Alright. So now it's getting called. Actually, I can move all of that in one line. Components, bind tags. There we go. And I'm gonna copy that line and do the same for the enemy character. Here and boom. And it's asking for the include component, CombatComponent. Here we go. Let's close all of that and let's give this a try. So when compiling, I'm getting an error, which I think is because I need to include the tag container. So let's include gameplay tag container.h. I should fix this and I can remove that. Let's compile this again. Cool. So now the first thing to do is to go to our enemy character and add a tag. So where is it? It's in. Oh, well, true. I don't see it because I forgot to add a U property to it. It's to edit anywhere. Oh, and I did put that, I just realized. I put that in private, so I won't be able to access it there unless I add a meta equals, what is it? Allow private access, let's close this, equals true. And now we can add a tag to it, which I'm gonna add the hit react stagger tag. So now when this tag is added to our character, it's gonna trigger our HandleTag function. So let me do the same for the player character. There we go, and let's test this out. Fantastic, it works. And it even let us know when the tag is removed. As right now, my tag, well, it's not infinite, it's getting removed after 1 second. Which is not really how I want to remove my tag. This was just to show you that you could actually do that in the previous tutorial, so I'm just gonna put this back to infinite. But everything is working. So now let's go back to the code. Nice. Now what we want to happen here, let me just get rid of that. Now just like we did with the notify, where is my anim notify? Here. Where I have this collision activation data with all my structs and enums in here. I'm gonna do the same thing for my tags, as to get everything to be a little bit more organized. So the first thing I'm gonna do is to create a new file here. I'm gonna call this CombatComponent data.h. Now in it, I'm gonna need pragma once, include core minimal, include, I believe I'm gonna need the gameplay tags container, and finally you're gonna need the CombatComponent data.generated.h. Alright. Now the first thing I'm gonna add is an enum. Let's add an enum. Let's make it blueprint type. Enum class. Let's call it effect application policy. Int 8. Alright, and in it I'm gonna add apply on add, apply on remove, and apply on both. Well, what this is for is so when a tag is applied to a character, we can choose to do something when the tag is applied, or we can choose to do something when the tag is removed, or on both. If so, do something when the tag is applied and when it's removed. Next, let's make a struct. I'm gonna call it effect. Let's see, HandlingInfo, and inside of it, so I'm gonna move this thing that we're using here, this array of tag to bind. Let's delete it from here. I'm gonna move this here. I'm gonna make a U property. Edit anywhere. Let's do blueprint read write. And add a f gameplay tag trigger tag here. Next is another U property. Edit anywhere. Blueprint read write. And we can add our policy. Application policy. Effect. So by default, it's going to be set to apply on add. Next, we probably want a tag for the ability that we want to trigger. Right, so it would be something like ability tag, but I do also want to make this a bit more versatile to have a bit more functionality to it. So I want to also be able to use a delay and not necessarily trigger something immediately, and that will be useful later, you'll see. So I'm gonna make a new struct for this. And let's call it EffectHandlingInfo. And in it, I'm gonna add a U property. It's gonna be in edit anywhere, blueprint read write, doesn't matter. In an array. No, wait, no, it can't be an array. Just a gameplay tag, ability to activate. I need another U property. This one's gonna be a float. I'm gonna call it ability activation delay. Here we go. So now I can add this here. I'm gonna call it ability, or I don't know, settings. If you have a better name for it, just use that. I'm gonna give it a U property, edit anywhere, blueprint read write, doesn't matter. Now I also want to be able to remove the gameplay effect that we've applied. Remember, I had to give it a duration so that it would remove itself, but I do want to have control over that. So let's add a new struct. This one is gonna be EffectHandlingInfo. I don't have a better name for it. U property. Now, let's make a T array of T subclass of U gameplay effects. Yep. Call it effects to apply, so we can apply multiple effects. So you can imagine, like, after you hit the other character, you can apply effects like a bleeding effect, a stun effect, or all of the above. Like you can have multiple effects at once. And this is complaining, so let me add the EU gameplay. What is it? Gameplay effect. There we go. And for this too, I'm gonna add a delay, so that we can delay it if we wanted to. Code effect application delay. And let me copy this. Actually, I'm just gonna copy both and change this to effect to remove. Actually, effects to remove. There's multiple. There could be multiple. And this one, effect removal delay. There we go. Perfect. Now we can use this instead. Let's go back to the component. I'm gonna make a U property. This thing. Oh, yep. We do need the include. Combat component data. There we go. And actually, I need to make this an array. Let's call it tag bindings. All right, let's get rid of this line. And instead use our new struct tag to bind tag bindings tag to we can extract from it, so tag to bind dot trigger tag. Okay, so we are binding to trigger tag, which is this here. Okay, so now in handle, so now what we want to happen when this function is called. First, let's make sure we have access to our ability system component. There we go, and I'm gonna create a bool, call it BindTagAdded equals new count is greater than 0. So if the new count of the tag is greater than 0, then we know that it's been added. If it's 0, then that means that the tag has been removed. Okay. Now we are gonna loop over all the tag bindings that we have. So let's do this tag binding, tag bindings, and let's make sure tag that match. What is it? Match tag binding dot trigger tag continue. Alright. So here all we're doing is checking if the tag that's being passed in is a tag that we do have in our trigger tag. Next, let's make a switch. Tag binding. And switch on the application policy. Case. What is it? Okay. Here we go. Case on apply on added. So let's make it check here. B-tag added. So if the tag was not added, well, we don't want to do anything, so we just continue. We only want to proceed if the tag was added. So here I would want to, let's say, activate an ability, or yeah, I would want to activate an ability. And also, if we have any effect to remove, I would remove whatever effects we have, and also apply any effects that we have. Cool. Let's make another case for apply on remove first. Let's, again, we need to check here, but this time, if we have added the tag, we don't want to do anything. And we pretty much want to do the same thing that we're doing there. So if we have any ability to activate on removal, we're gonna activate them. If any effect to be removed, we remove them. If we have any effect to apply, we apply them. And next is on both, which here we don't have to check anything, as we do want to trigger this when we add an effect and when we remove an effect. So it's gonna be the same thing except no check. Cool. So now let's take care of these. First, let's start with the ability. I'm gonna make a new function. Where can I put this thing? Let's do it here. I'm gonna make a void ActivateAbilities. Now it's going to need to take in a EffectInfo. By reference, I'm gonna call it info. It's gonna need a tag. Let's call it just tag, and ability system component. Ability ability system component. Also this, I think this can be const, and this can be const. I think that's correct. Now it's complaining here, so you just have to forward declare this. There we go. While I'm here, let me just make the function for the other one too. So let's make a RemoveEffects, which is gonna be pretty much the same thing. Okay, I'm gonna move these down here. Cool. So now let's start with ability. What do we want to do in ability? Well, first thing, let's make sure we do have an ability to trigger. So I'm gonna do info.abilitySetting.ability to activate.isValid. Now if we do have one, well, I do have to use my timer, so I'm gonna use a what's it called, a lambda. Now if you're not familiar with a lambda, I'm just gonna show you what it looks like. It's pretty easy to understand actually. So just like any other function, like for example this ActivateAbility function that we have here. So the structure of this function is just a void, the name of the function, then any parameters, so these parameters that we have, so params1, params2, and that's pretty much the structure of a basic function. Now a lambda is going to be very similar, so we're going to use auto for the type, then I'm going to call it ActivateAbilities. Now I'm going to do equal, and this is where we put in the parameters if you want. I'm going to pass in my ASC and info, and we need this here. So that's a lambda. It's very similar to a normal function really. Anyway, so now what we want to do inside is just use our ASC and try ActivateAbility by tag. Now this function takes in a gameplay tag container and not just a gameplay tag, so we need to make a container. So I'm just going to do gameplay tag container, create one here, and add the tag in. So info dot, what is it, ability setting and ability to activate. There we go. That's pretty easy. Now we need to call this function, and we are gonna call it after a delay. So if we've set a delay here, what is it? Effect handling here. If we've set, for example, a delay of 1 second, so we want to only trigger this function after that delay. Or if there's no delay, we want to trigger it immediately. Now to do that, I'm gonna need a timer handle. Let's make some timers. And for my timer, actually, I'm gonna use a tmap. Tmap, f gameplay tag, f timer handle, timer handles abilities, let's call it. Now, why use a tmap? Well, now all this is doing is just binding a tag to a timer so that I can have access to that timer anytime that I want by using this tag. It's to keep track of a timer so that I can reset the timer or do anything that I want with the timer. While we are here, let's make some more tmaps. I'm just gonna copy this actually. Paste it here and then change this to remove, and this one to apply. Now we have 3 timers. Now in here, I'm gonna make it new timer. So timer handle, call it handle equals timer handle ability dot find or add tag. So what I'm doing here is just checking if I already have a timer that is active, or if I do have one, I just get it by using the find, or if I don't have one, then I just create a new one. Now we need another function, and that function is going to be used to call my lambda after the delay. So this is the function that's going to take care of the delay for us. And well, actually that function is going to be a template. Template type name function execute with delay function in function float delay timer handle. Alright, so what is this template function doing? Well, it's just taking in a function, so I can pass in a function, a delay and a timer, and so it's gonna wait for this delay using this timer and then call the function that I have given to it after the timer is over. Now let's generate this, and now when we generate this, it's gonna generate it in the H file, in our header file here. So I'm just gonna cut it and move it here. Cool. Now inside of this function, I'm gonna check if my delay is 0. If there's no delay, then I'm gonna call the function immediately. Here we go. So if there's no delay, then just call whatever function I've passed in immediately. Now if there's a delay, then I need access to the world to be able to use the timer. So uWorld equals getWorld. If that's valid, then we can do world get timer manager clear timer handle. So we have we clear the timer. Now we need a timer delegate, which is just a way to pass in the function to our timer, I guess. I don't know how to explain this exactly. Timer delegate bind lambda in function. And we can use the world, get the timer, set the timer, passing in the timer handle, the delegate, which is the function that we want to call, the delay that we want to wait, and lastly it's asking if we want to loop it or not. And nope, we don't want to loop, we just want to do this once. So all it's doing is waiting a delay using the timer and then calling whatever function we've passed in. So let's do this here. So now all that is left to do is just to call the execute with delay, passing in the ability, nope, and info, ability settings, the activation delay, and the timer handle. There we go. Oh, and I just realized that all of this should be in here. Alright, yeah, done. Now let's do the same thing for RemoveEffect. So again, let's make sure that we do have an effect to remove. So info, wait. Did I not? Oh, I did forget to add it here. Oh, that's why. Effects. Oh my god. Here we go. Let's call it, I don't know, effects settings. Here we go. Now I should be able to access it here. Dot effect setting. Thank you. And effect to remove. Now this one is an array. So you can just check if num is greater than 0. Cool. Now I'm gonna make another lambda here, same thing, remove effects, ASC.info, and then inside of it we can just loop const t subclass new gameplay effects info effect setting effect to remove. You can loop over all the effects to remove. And let's make sure they are valid. So if effects and ASC, we need to have a valid effect and ability system. Now to remove an effect, we need a gameplay effect query. Where's the query? Define a new query, then use that query to effect definition equals effect to add our effect to it, and then call the ability system component and tell it to remove active effect, giving it our query. Easy. Alright, and just like the other one here, where's that? Here, we need to make it timer. Timer handle equals timer handle for remove dot find or add tag. RemoveEffects info dot effect settings dot removal delay handle. Cool, this one is done. Now let's go to applying an effect, which is gonna be very similar to remove. Effect settings dot effect to apply, check if we have any, and then we loop t subclass of gameplay effects. And now we need to apply an effect. Now we've done this before. If you remember, let's go to our collision actor. Where is it? Collision actor in, here we go. Here it is. Here we are prepping a effect and then applying it. So this is basically what we are going to do there. Okay, so let's do this here. Okay, first, we need a gameplay effect context handle. Effect context, let's call it. ASC make effect context. Effect context. Let's just add source object, I guess. Get own. spec handle, make outgoing spec. And here we go. And now all we need to do, oh shit, I did forget to make the lambda. My bad. Let's do that now. Effect equals, just like the other one, ASC info. This, then I'm gonna cut all of that, put it in here. Here we go, and you're gonna see that it's gonna complain about the get owner. It says that it's invalid and we need to, it says this is not captured. All we need to do is just add this so that it can, so that this function, this lambda function can get access to this class and capture the get owner. Alright, so def timer, same thing as the other ones. Okay, it's all done. That should be it. I think that's it. Oh, and true, we do need to replace these now. So I can call ActivateAbilities. Need to pass in tag binding, tag in ASC. Same thing for RemoveEffects. And ApplyEffects. And well, actually the order of these things that you can choose for yourself. Right now, when an effect is applied, it's first activating whatever ability that we have set, then removing an effect, and then applying an effect. But you can change this order. That's up to you. You could totally just do this instead, so that the ability, so that activating the ability happens last. I'm just gonna copy that and paste it all here. Alright, that should be it. Let's compile and see. Oh mamma mia, bunch of errors. Yep, I already know what's happening. So let's make sure that all of these are blueprint types. But I forgot to add here. There we go, let's compile again. Okay, so let's go to our ability first and make sure that you don't have any triggers here, because now we are activating this from our code, so from the C++, and we do need to give this a tag. So here, where it says ability tag, I'm gonna create a new tag. I'm gonna call it ability.stagger. This is what we're gonna use to activate this ability. So now it has this tag on it. Cool. And this is set to infinite. Nothing to change here. Now let's go to our enemy and find the tag binding. Here we go. Now trigger tag is gonna be our hit react. Application policy, I'm gonna leave it on apply on add. And ability to activate, it's gonna be ability stagger. For now I won't put any delay or anything, or add or remove any effect. Let's just check if we can actually activate an ability first. But we can do the same for the player too. Should be here and this one. Let's give this a try. See if we get any errors. Nice, it works. So if I go here, I see that it still has the tag hit react on it. Nice. So it does work. Cool. Now let's remove that tag. To do so, we need to go to here and let's do effect to remove. Our hit react stagger gameplay effect is what we want to remove. And I'm gonna show you, we're gonna get an error here. So let's try and remove it. So now if I do this, and then I hit, boom. Now do you see this? It's up. It says that we called RemoveTag on this tag, but it wasn't in the map. So what happened here, I believe, is that we apply the effect, the gameplay effect, and as we are applying the gameplay effect, we are also trying to remove it at the same time, which is why it's not working. So what we want to do is to give it time to actually fully apply the gameplay effect. So we just have to move our removal to like 1 frame after. So I'm just gonna put a tiny delay here, and that should fix our issue. Let's see. Now if I hit, boom, and it works, no more error. And as you can see, where it says, wait, can I detach this? Oh, never mind. And now as you can see where it says own tag, there's no more tags in there. Yep, working fine. Nice. And now that delay is not really the delay that we want to be here. You see, you probably want to prevent the other actor from doing things when they are being staggered. Let's say if you have a knockdown, for example, and you knock them down, you put a tag on them that says that they are knocked down. You would want them to keep that tag until they get up, because while they have that tag, maybe you don't want them to be able to move or to use abilities or anything like that. So for here, we don't really want to remove that tag immediately. Let's go to our stagger and find the animation. I'm gonna drag this all the way here, and this is the length of our animation. So 0.57 is the length of this whole stagger animation. And this is what I'm gonna use for the delay here. So now, if I hit this character, it's going to keep this tag until the effect is completely ended, until the animation is done playing. Oh wait, let's do this. Here we go. Now if I hit him, yep, as you can see, the effect now doesn't just go away immediately. Here we go, and that's what we want there. Let's do the same thing for the player character. Remove. We want to remove this after a DD of 0.57. Now let's test this out. Let's add 2 players. Now we have PvP enabled. Can I make this bigger? Sure. Come on. Let me make it bigger. Why? Apparently I can. Anyway. But let's see if I hit this guy now. Boom. Yep, it works. Yep, let's make sure that it's the case here. Boom. Yes, it works perfectly fine. Tag is added and removed. Nice. Yep, everything is replicated properly. Fantastic. Now you can imagine this is a very powerful system, because now you can do pretty much anything that you want from just applying a tag to a character. You can send them flying up in the air, add buffs or debuffs to them, or anything that you can think of. So I believe in the next tutorial we're gonna have some fun. I'm gonna make some more abilities and gameplay effects to show you how to actually use this to its full potential. And also there's a bug that we haven't experienced yet, but maybe if you've tried to use different size of hitboxes, you might have experienced it, where sometimes the collision would not register. And we're gonna fix that probably in the next tutorial. Anyway, if you've learned something, leave a like, comment, subscribe, join the Discord, and I might also put, I think I will put the project file in the Discord. Of course without the animations, but if you want to have access to it, you can just go there and download it. Anyway, see you in the next one.